Hello and welcome to Question Hour, a unique show on Rajya Sabha TV where we get you the questions asked by members in the upper house of the Parliament. I'm your host Rajat Kain, joined with my colleague Kriti Mishra.
Thank you so much, Rajat. And as you know, Question Hour is a very important tool in India's parliamentary democracy because it gives an opportunity to the members to seek answers from the government. There are different types of questions, the starred, the unstarred, and also the short notice questions. Our show focuses on all the important unstarred questions asked by the members of the upper house in the previous sessions of Rajya Sabha. So, Rajat, let's begin the show.
Well, the first question of this edition of show that was asked by member Amar Patnaik from Ministry of Atomic Energy. The member asked about details of the present dependence of imported uranium fuel for use in civil reactors and the present production of uranium fuel domestically. And lastly, the targeted timeline for introduction of commercial thorium-based reactors and step taken towards this target.
And responding to this important query, the government says that at present 14 reactors out of the 22 reactors in operation are fueled by imported uranium. Uranium Corporation of India Limited, a public sector undertaking under the Department of Atomic Energy, has been entrusted with the mandate of mining and processing uranium. However, it is not in public interest to disclose the quantity of production of uranium by UCIL. The government further says that the country's three-stage nuclear power program emphasizes utilization of vast thorium resources available in the country. However, large-scale deployment of commercial thorium-based reactors would be targeted after a few decades of deployment of fast breeder reactors, which constitute the second stage of nuclear power program. Thorium is not a fissile element and hence its commercial utilization can be undertaken only after adequate availability of fissile materials like plutonium or uranium-233, which is envisioned through deployment of FBRs. And joining us on the Question Hour show through virtual platform is Rajya Sabha MP Dr. Amar Patnaik. Dr. Patnaik, welcome to Rajya Sabha TV and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Kriti. It is a pleasure to talk on this and particularly interesting because we are meeting at different times on a different platform.
So, you know, our show focuses on all the important unstarred questions asked by the members of the upper house. And speaking about the last session, you asked a very pertinent question about the dependence on imported uranium fuel for civil reactors in the country. Is certainly a very important issue, sir.
See, my question was, what is the position of production of uranium in our country, and how are we using thorium as a material which can be processed for giving us enriched uranium. So these questions obviously have a lot of implications for our security, and rightly, therefore, the government has not specifically answered the question relating to what is the quantum of uranium that is there in our country so far. I appreciate that. What is, however, a little bit disconcerting is the fact that out of 22 uranium reactors, only 14 are now operational. As I understand, the problem is thorium is not a fissile material. So it has to be used with uranium-233. So unless that happens, the thorium is actually of no use. So the production of uranium-233 has to come through a process of first fast breeder reactors. These fast breeder reactors are now operational, and that's at the stage 2 of our uranium program. So once the uranium-233 is produced in sufficient quantity, the thorium which is available can also be used. I'm very happy with the answer in the sense the government is fully aware of the process or the stages of the roadmap that we are taking in terms of making our country sufficient for use of uranium for civil nuclear purposes, and if at all it is required for military purposes as well. But overall, from the answer, I get a feeling that government is in full control of what is the current situation and how to move forward to be self-sufficient in uranium and in fissile material. As I said, thorium per se is not a fissile material. So even if it is available and commercially it is available for exploitation, it cannot be exploited unless the fast breeder reactors process a sufficient quantity of uranium-233, and then it can be used. So that is in the stage 2 of our nuclear program. And while we are aware of the fact that we are self-sufficient in thorium, we have to first reach that stage 2 level. Thorium commercial exploitation is coming in stage 3 of our nuclear program.
Any specific suggestion to the government?
No, as I said, I'm very happy about the response which is given by the government, and in fact, I have had separate private meetings with the Honourable Minister whenever I have questions relating to this, and he has always been able to answer my questions and satisfy me to the extent because being a science student, I know about this entire process, and so the point is. While we are aware, my recommendation would be while we are aware of the various stages and various processes, I think we need to actually hasten the process. We need to have more bilateral arrangements with other countries for possible enrichment. We are getting crude and enriching it through the fast breeder reactors. We could probably think about establishing more fast breeder reactors and trying to come to a level then where we become self-sufficient in uranium-233 so as to use the thorium that we have and are able to produce much more fissile material.
All right, on that note, thank you so much for joining us and sharing those important details with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And let's move on to the next question asked by member Professor Manoj Kumar Jha, and this question pertains to the Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying. And the member has inquired whether National Dairy Development Board or NDDB is corporate body wholly or substantially owned or controlled by Government of India under Rule 26(1) of All India Services Rules, and whether there are provisions in the NDDB Act which render NDDB to be a corporate body wholly or substantially owned, controlled by government. If so, the details thereof.
Well, replying to query, the ministry said that as per National Dairy Development Board Act 1987, the National Dairy Development Board is constituted as an institution of national importance and as a body corporate. All India Service, that's Death Cum Retirement Benefits Rules 1958 is not applicable under it. As per Section 8, Subsection 1 of the said Act, the General Superintendent's direction, control and management of the affairs and business of NDDB shall vest in Board of Directors, which shall exercise all powers and do all acts and things which may be exercised or done by the NDDB. The service conditions, pay and appointments of the National Dairy Development Board employees are governed by respective regulations made under the NDDB Act, namely the NDDB Officers Appointment, Pay and Allowance Regulations 1988 and NDDB Workmen Appointment, Pay Allowance Regulations 1988. Well, moving on to next question that was asked by member D. Kupendra Reddy from Ministry of Railways. The member asked whether the quality of food served in long distance trains, especially in Rajdhani, has fallen and passengers' complaints are increasing, and whether Railways has a plan to improve quality of food served in trains.
And responding to this query, the government says that it is a continuous endeavour of Indian Railways to provide quality and hygienic food to passengers in all the trains. Indian Railways have robust mechanism of receiving feedback, suggestions and grievances from the passengers. Appropriate and prompt corrective actions are taken by Railways to address these concerns. Now, during 2019-20, a total of 1,998 complaints pertaining to quality of food in trains have been received, out of which 641 complaints pertain to Rajdhani Express trains, which is lower than 677 complaints received during the corresponding year of 2018-19. Now, various steps taken by the Indian Railways to provide quality and hygienic food to the passengers include 46 kitchens have been upgraded by IRCTC to improve quality and hygiene of food. Closed-circuit television or CCTV cameras have been installed in kitchens to monitor kitchen activities on real-time basis. Live streaming of the kitchens have been made available for the passengers through IRCTC website as well as Rail Drishti. This enables close and live monitoring of the activities in the kitchens, both by officials and the public as well. This facility is presently available in 28 upgraded kitchens. IRCTC has enabled quick response codes to be posted on the food casseroles at 29 kitchens, which enable passengers to get direct link to CCTV images of the kitchen where food is prepared and packed. Details of the content and quantities of the meal and date of packaging can also be seen on by the passenger. Ensuring use of approved PAD items, branded premium quality, raw material and ingredient for production of food. Variety in menu is being ensured through introduction of low-cost snack meals of regional cuisine and flavor. Branded food providers have been roped in to provide e-catering services in trains through advanced booking. Ready-to-eat or RTE meals for variety and to meet emergent requirements also have been introduced. Certification from designated food safety officers of each kitchen unit has been made mandatory. Food safety supervisions of IRCTC have been deployed at kitchen units. Customer satisfaction surveys are also conducted through third-party agencies. And third-party audits are maintained by the catering policy and are also being carried out by NACAB, which is National Accreditation Board for Certification of Bodies and accredited agencies for examination of quality of food, hygiene and cleanliness in pantry cars and kitchen units as well. And let's move on to the last question of this edition of the Question Hour that has been asked by a member, Lal Singh Vadoria, and this question also pertains to the Ministry of Railways. And the member has asked whether it is a fact that government is seriously considering to increase the speed of the trains and the details thereof.
Well, replying to query, the ministry answered in affirmative, saying that speeding up of trains is constant endeavour and continuous process on Indian Railways, which is dependent on constant optimization of the investment made by railways in modernization of technology, high-powered locos, modern coaches, signalling, electrification, and better tracks. Now, with this end in view, Indian Railways have taken several steps. Now, these include proliferation of Link Hoffman Bosch coaches, which have better speed. 531 pairs of train are being operated with LHB coaches at present. Now, sanction of work for raising sectional speed of 160 kilometers per hour on existing Delhi-Mumbai, including Vadodara-Ahmedabad and New Delhi-Howrah, including Kanpur-Lucknow routes, costing 6,806 crore and 6,685 crore respectively. Identification of all golden quadrilateral and diagonal routes except the New Delhi-Mumbai and New Delhi-Howrah for raising of sectional speed to 130 kilometers per hour.
So, Rajat, those were the important questions and answers for our viewers in this edition of Question Hour. Thanks for watching and take care.